want to welcome two very special guests to join me here tonight. They're going to help us center some themes that Chris and Amber chose for this gathering. Radical tenderness, playfulness, storytelling. Please help me welcome their great friend, Chris Gates. Give it up for Chris Gates!
Hello, everybody hear me all right in the back? My theme of this talk is supposed to be storytelling and playfulness, but I'm feeling a little emotional with this love story, man. And if I don't remember what I have to say, I have a little cheat sheet, which is there's three things that I want to be our takeaways for this conversation. One is to choose the story, two is to play for keeps, and three is to ask the score. So if I forget everything else, just talk to me later and I'll tell you what I meant by that. So I had the privilege of meeting my brother from another, and I moved to San Francisco in 2015. And I don't remember what he was wearing that day.
Shame on you.
However, I can never forget the afternoon at Dolores Park when we both happened to be wearing a vivid purple off-color shirt. I don't even know why we were wearing this. Like, something was in the air that day, and linen pants. And that very happily went on Instagram, and I said, twinning with my brother, CT. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So, I'm a fan of history, and I was curious when I thought about these themes for the wedding, these values for marriage, particularly storytelling and playfulness. And I went looking at the root of those words and where they come from, right? Story and play. And I uncovered some interesting things about it. So, story as a word, as a concept, was never separated in the English language from history until like the 1500s. And in Spanish, story is just historia. Like it hasn't separated. And I think that's a beautiful reminder of you get to choose the story, you get to write it, and it is history. It is your story, it is your history. Right? You get to own that. And I think you've done that in a very beautiful way with what you're choosing to do with Amaru. And I know that's going to be a continuing conversation today. But I also want to invite you to think about the story that is told in the moments, in the day-to-day moments. I think it's incredible that you both, in your own ways, as Masha alluded to, are safe harbors for your communities, and very intentionally so. Amber, I haven't had the privilege of really getting to know the core four, but I was so touched when you told me the story of how you admired your mother as the matriarch of your family, and you look at her as someone who cares for and cultivates the family. In times of need, people can turn to. And you have said with full conviction, I want that. I want to be that person too. And I've been preparing to be that person. And Chris, whether it's starting Hola, whether it's leading Burning Man camps, whether it's just holding your friends down when they need it, you are also that safe harbor. And you both come from a lineage of people that have created safe harbor for themselves, for their loved ones, for the community. And so I think that's incredible. But I think it's interesting that cultivating and caring for is such an obvious part of both of your story, because it's also part of the history of the word play. So play, we know it as to move lightly, to amuse yourself. And I love that, amuse yourself. Amuse yourself. That's right. And in Spanish, it's the word jugar. Jugar is the translation. And what it means is to hacer algo con alegría. Right? And I found this awesome phrase, you've heard of it, short play for keeps. And usually when we think about that, we think about it in the context of marriage and something serious and relationship, play for keeps. But the origin of that word is actually from a children's game. Marbles. People play marbles at keep the marbles, playing for keeps. That's what playing for keeps is. And so that, to me, reminds me of what I think is critical in marriage when well-being, whether it's spiritual, emotional, physical, that you talk about, is tending to our inner child, is allowing our inner child to live, to be free, to be light, and to embody that. A pet peeve of mine is when someone says, just relax. Well, how do you relax? In this case, just play. Well, how do you play? And I think the blessing is that you got the best example right here, right? You literally have a child that you get to witness, and there's times when you're going to be overwhelmed and you maybe need some space. And there are the other times when you're deep into tears and you need to be helped. But there's a few other things that Milo embodies that I want to share with you, or I want to invite you to consider. Not just in the big moments, but in the day-to-day. Dare to dance, to discover, to delight. Find awe and amusement in the day-to-day. Nurture nonsense and narratives that lighten the mood. Imagine, improvise, indulge. Be light, let in a little liberation, and a big O that created him. So listen, there's setting intentions are nice. It's rolling.
It's trickling.
Like setting intentions are nice, but you know, when you leave here, how do you continue to honor these values, right? These themes of the way, how do you continue to uphold it? And like any good coach, I think about what gets in the way of success. And you know, life is long, and you will get upset at each other. You will have some disagreements, big and small, surely. And I have one piece of advice for you, and that is to ask the score. And what I mean by that is, in the heat of the moment, whatever the disagreement is, whatever the problem is, ask the score, meaning how important is this particular topic, whatever it is, how important is this to you? And ask your partner to rank it from 1 to 10. And anything over 5 is something significant, right? But anything under 5, right, is maybe something that you can choose to let go and choose to invite in play and lightness. You told me, Amber, about your affinity for, or what play looks like in your relationship thus far. You talked to me about the Pink Panther, and specifically a phrase that the Pink Panther says, "Excellent verbal justice, sir." And I bring this up because my hope is that after I tell this final piece, that is something that you can keep in mind. So you can ask the score if you are ever upset with each other. Or, you know, Chris, you can look at Amber if she's upset or angry. You can just find the nearest towel and drape it around her back and look at her and say, "Now you're super angry." Maybe she'll laugh, maybe cry. Or maybe she'll turn to you and say, "Excellent verbal joust." So I invite you to choose the story, play for keeps, and ask the score.
Yeah.